Alright, so I'm going to try to show the assembly of one of the board coils all in one take, so hopefully it won't take too long, but this is all the tools that I need. The board is right over here, and I'll bring that over whenever we're ready. But I guess to start with, you have all these pieces that actually make the frame that the coil sits in, and they're pretty rough and dirty, like you can see all the junk on them. To clean them up, I'm actually using this, which this is just part of this casing for like a computer, like a printer cable connector or something like that. These came with the kit so that you could get the pins out of the insides of them, which is what is used to connect the Nixie tubes. And so here's a couple of the pins. I've actually cut part of the tail off of them so that it will fit inside of the PCB board. But anyway, so I'm using this because this edge is kind of blunt and rounded, so it won't cut into the piece, but it will scrape all this junk off. So we've got the kind of not decorative exactly, but the kind of showy part of basically the top of the coil, which is what you'll see whenever you look at the board. There's white and then there's brown, for the alternating spaces on the board. So you've got this disc, you've got a smaller diameter disc, and then again another larger diameter disc, and so this is where the coil will wrap around. And then this piece, which once it's all secured together, this is what actually screws down onto the board. So first things first is clean off all the junk off of these pieces, which only takes a couple of seconds to just quickly rub over the edges of them. And it's important to get this junk off, otherwise it can interfere with the pieces lying flat against each other. And if the pieces don't lie flat against each other, then the wire, as you're wrapping it around, won't stay where it's supposed to and will actually slip in between the discs, which isn't really good. So, all right. This side is a little cleaner than this side, so I'm going to make this be the actual top. Okay, so I'm going to need a little bit of super glue to hold it all together. So now I'm going to put the smaller diameter piece, then a little bit more glue, and the larger diameter piece. So there you've got your little frame for the coil. And then the last piece we need is this one. And we'll screw this on so that it'll hold it together while it hardens and dries. Okay. Then I have the wire used to make the coil. And the way that I am using it, because it needs to make a good contact and this wire has a coating on the outside of it, I'm just using some sandpaper. I use a pretty heavy grit sandpaper because that's what I had available. I think this is 100 grit, I think. So pretty heavy grit, but it seems to work okay. I just rub it on the outside of the wire, kind of all around, trying to get a good clean area of wire so I can make a good contact. Oh, that's pretty clean. And I just stick it through one of these holes And to secure it, I wrap it around the bolt. Okay, and then the fun part, I have to wrap it around 55 times. So that's going to be kind of boring. You can fast forward if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Almost there. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Home stretch. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. All right, don't come loose. Okay. And give myself a little bit of extra to work with. Alright, the wire nippers. Okay, so now I'm gonna strip this one as well, or this end. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Now, let's make some room. I'm gonna bring the board over here. Okay, here is the board. And let's see if I can move the camera so you can see. So you can, and that's pretty good. You can see that I've got a few of the coils in place, not too many. This first tail that I started with, since it's buried underneath all the other wire, it will stay in place pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And this is just the way that I'm hooking it together. I'm sure there's lots of other ways. I've seen some people that are actually soldering it to the bolts. I don't know, just didn't really like the way that looked, but that's just me. So I am actually making a good contact just using the bolts and the nuts that help hold this all together. So there's the screw. And get the nut started on here. Okay, so it started, and then all I'm doing is just wrapping it around. If I can get it to start. What's going on here? Haven't had this much trouble getting it on. Seriously. There we go. Okay. So just wrap it around like 1.5 times is all. It's not very happy with me. There we go. Alright. So then I've got a 7/32 socket. Fits the nut pretty well. Just tighten it down just a little bit, not too tight, otherwise it'll snap the wire. And then the same process on the other side. I can't get this one to thread properly. Hold on. There we go. Alright, and wrap it around as well. That's more like it. That one went on easy. Okay. And just because of the direction of the thread, I'm actually going to use the screwdriver on the back end here to get it to, so that it won't move the wire too much. Okie dokie. And then take off the bolt that was holding it all together, since the glue should have hardened a long time before now. Okay. So now let's test it and make sure that everything's connected properly. I'm going to pull these wires up and out of the way so that they are not making contact with any of the other components. Learned that the hard way. I burned up something the other day, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And let's get a Nixie tube. I already have several of the display pieces made up, and as you can see, it lights up just fine. And then let's put it on this one. It lights up perfect. Let's see if it looks good compared to the other tubes. It looks to be about the same brightness, I think. So I'm going to call that a success. One more down, only a bunch to go.